What's going on? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone. Today we are talking pedal boards, part 2. We're actually going to play the thing. How's it going? This week, our crazy Dylan Talks Tone roadshow takes us to Central Tennessee. That's where we are now. We are making pickups. We'll be here for a couple weeks. Let's talk about pedal boards. So, geez, it's raining. I'm sitting under the awning outside, so hopefully it doesn't get too wet. So we're gonna go inside here in a minute, and we're gonna go ahead and play through this pedal board that we built. If you're not familiar, we got the first video. We'll put the link to it up there. Super bummer thing happened. I shot a whole thing all about how to make the cables and solder the cables and everything, and somehow deleted the footage when we were on a trip to an aquarium. So I guess what we're gonna do there is, probably by now you've already seen the video that came out last Friday about how to make cables. So I basically did a video specifically that came out last Friday, how to make cables. And if you are on Patreon right now and you're seeing this before last Friday, whatever, anyway, you'll see what I mean. Anyway, go ahead, check out that video as well, how to make guitar cables. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So what we've got here is our Creation Music Company pedal board. They gave this to me a few years ago. And then I've got, let's go through the pedal board. Let's go through what we've got on this thing. A Keeley Compressor Plus. I'm not a huge compressor fan. This is the first compressor that I've ever used that I really like. I don't leave it on all the time, but it's pretty cool. I really do like it, and it's a fun thing to experiment with. If you want to understand how compressors work and what they do or whatever, put it in the description below. Because maybe that's what we'll do with some of this pedal board stuff is talk about how it all works and how it's supposed to work together. So if you have questions about that, put it in the comments below. I went and I got a wah. I got a mini wah, one of those little baby ones. Check out last Thursday's live video, because we talked about the story. This is a really interesting story of this little cool shop in Chattanooga, Tennessee, that we walked in there. Really kind of cool story. Go watch a replay of the Thursday live video, and it'll kind of tell you the whole story of how I ended up with this wah pedal. It's pretty cool. I did buy it, but I'm glad to support this local shop. It was pretty awesome. After that, we've got a clone of some sort, and I don't know what it is, to tell you the truth. If you know what this is, if you recognize this, put in the comments what it is, because I'm not sure. It doesn't strike me as an actually real clone, because it's not as clear, and it's creamier, I guess. I'll show you in a minute. And then we've got a D&M drive from Keeley. This is I have two favorite overdrive pedals of all time, the King of Tone and this. And this, I love this drive pedal. For the same reason I like the King of Tone, they just sound a little different. I really, really, really like this pedal. And then one of my buddies gave me also this Canyons. So I don't have reverb in my Marshall Origin 20 amp. So I'm using the reverb of this. I have somewhere, I lent to one of my friends a Keeley workstation that has delays and reverbs in it. So I need to get that back from him and put that on my board. I really like that. If there's other suggestions for reverbs and delays, please put it in the comments and let me know, and maybe we'll get one and we'll chuck it on the board. This is like a work in progress that I kind of want to continue to build over time, because I like playing with this stuff, but I've never brought it to the channel. So I thought, well, let's do it. I've got an actual Marshall amp now. We're not playing any kind of modeler anymore, although I would still love to have a Kemper. I would really still love to have a Kemper, to tell you the truth. But anyways, it'd be cool. It's cool. It's cool to have this thing. It's cool to do all this experimenting and start playing around with stuff. I tell you what, let's go play it. Well, there you go. I hope you dug it. It's the first of many, because like I said, I haven't done a whole lot of pedal board stuff on this channel, maybe just a couple of videos, so I'm pretty excited about trying it. And let me know, what you have, suggestions for pedals to come. I know I don't really like this clone thing, but I'm really excited to try the new TC Electronic one that came out that we just talked about, so that's pretty cool. And let me know what you want to dive into. It's really important, I think, to understand how different pedals work together, like what compression really is, overdrive pedals, how when you stack them, what happens. People talk about multiple gain stages, all this sort of stuff, what it does to the amp, why various, like you can't just say what are your settings, and if somebody said what are your settings and just apply it to your own setup, because everybody's is different. Understanding why that is. So I have a whole bunch of content ideas for this, so let me know in the comments what you want to see as far as like the more fun side, but also the more technical side of building a pedal board and putting it all together. Tell you what, before we go, we haven't done this in a while. Let's take a couple of viewer questions. All right, let's see. Daniel Attore says, do you have a recommendation for a Gauss meter that is appropriate for pickup building? They all seem all over the place price-wise, and I'm just starting, but I want to get something that's worthwhile. I will put a link in the description of this video to the one that I use. It's right around 120 bucks or something on Amazon, and I have found it suits my needs perfectly. I like it. I'll put a link to it in the description. Fat Philosopher wants to know, I'm a pencil pusher. Any Dylan neckties? I assume he's wondering about our merch store, which is constantly expanding. You can go to Dylan Talks Tone and click on the Dylan Gear tab, I think, and buy this cool hat and other stuff. And at this time, I do not have any neckties, but I'll look into it. Patrick Kim says, have you ever tried a Pure Tone output jack? If not, please give it a try. I have bought one, and I want to put it in a video coming up. So we will talk about it very shortly. S. Dawson Smith says, I have a wiring question. That's not a question. So if you have a question, the easiest thing to do is hang out for the live Q&A on Thursday, because that's how we handle a lot of these questions. We get so many comments every day that it's hard for me to keep up with all of them. But that live Q&A on Thursday is pretty cool. Also, if you are a YouTube member, click the little join button down there to become a YouTube member, as well as Patreon members get prioritized. For example, if you cannot make it to a live stream, but you have a question and you are a Patreon member, even at the lowest thing, or a YouTube member, I will answer those questions that those members answer or ask every week. So even if you can't make it and you have to go and watch it in replay, I will still answer your question and make sure we don't miss it. Also, we are time stamping those questions so you can go find them. So we're trying to make all of this way, way easier to ask questions and make sure that you get answers. The other thing is, is on our Patreon. We have a live workshop every month that you can like come to a Zoom hangout and ask questions and solve problems and all that sort of stuff. You can check that out on Patreon as well. So there's a bunch of ways to ask questions. I mean, I know we have lots of comments on YouTube, but I don't get to see them all. And yeah, and so, I mean, people try to send me Facebook messages. They try to do it all kind of different ways, but this is the way to do it. It makes it easier for everybody, and that way everybody else gets to benefit because they probably have the same question you do, or they may have the same question you do, and it's the easiest way for all of us to get the answer at the same time. So, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, and got another video coming tomorrow.